Hi, welcome or welcome again to E-motion Alchemy with DivineMeTime. This is Beth, and I have another practice for you today that will be dealing with the second of 5 trios of emotion. Annoyance, anger, and disgust will be the substances that we work with today. And we will work to raise the frequency of them to become a sense of boundary, patience, and authentic power. So I won't talk a lot about emotion alchemy here other than to say it's all about feeling it to healing it. It's absolutely essential for our health and well-being to be able to get the message of our emotions. And if you want to know more about the philosophy of emotion alchemy, you can visit my website at DivineMeTime.com. I've also talked about it a little more deeply in other videos. So we always use an elixir to help us with the trio that we're working with, and today's trio requires the elixir of care. Today's practice will be started standing. And we're just going to make some arm swings here. So the trick is to let the arms be heavy and released to gravity, and they kind of generate their own momentum. If you feel like you're having to move your arms or they feel stiff, see if you can loosen up a little bit. Let the hands be like weighted objects and move from the shoulders. And just keep moving and just feel. Notice how this feels. And you can call up your feelings of annoyance, anger, and disgust as you move, and see if you can maybe let go of some of that energy. And you can bend the knees a little more deeply here and continue, or change the arms now so that they're moving in opposition. One goes forward, one goes back, but the same quality of heaviness in the arms. And maybe there's a shifting of weight from right to left slightly. It's almost like you're skiing down a hill or something. And make sure that you're breathing. This is definitely going to build some heat and warm up the body, which is what we want. But also really use this opportunity, this movement, to let go of whatever you're holding. Keep swinging. And then we're going to do the arms out and in to this. So out to the sides and then in towards the heart. It's kind of like spreading your wings. And just let the arms fly out. There's a letting go as you reach the peak of the height, and they just drop, and that momentum carries them across. And if you want to play a little bit with the movements and open the side body, you can. Or if you want to take the swing in a different direction, feel free. There are lots of different planes that we could explore here. And then settle the body back. And just feel the energy moving through the body, hopefully quite palpable. Okay, we're going to transition to our second practice. So you're going to need a couple of blankets. So as you see, I have a small rectangular blanket here. I'm folding it in half, and then in half again, and then one more time in half. So I have one for each side of my body, and I'm going to place them right next to my body, so they'll be slightly touching at either hip. And then I'm going to roll down to my back. And so the blankets are there for my arms, basically. So Just adjust yourself as you need to. The legs will stay bent. And just feel and arrive here on your back. Make sure you're comfortable. And then bring your legs up towards your chest. You can shake them out or do anything you need to. And then begin to kick your own butt. And while you're doing it, start to free yourself in terms of sound. I want you to call up any feelings of anger, of annoyance, of disgust, and just let those sounds come out as you begin to pound the blankets. So, of course, we don't want to hurt the body here. So please, please, please be really mindful of what you're doing. There's no reason to turn black and blue. Just continue to kick and make sounds and grit the teeth and stick out the tongue and growl and any kind of sound you want to make. Just free yourself. Let it out. This is your opportunity to get that energy moving. You're here because you care. If you start to slow down, that's fine. You can take a really quick break just to feel, and then begin again, maybe coming back a little stronger. Don't give up. Go all the way so that you get the most out of this exercise that you possibly can. And then bring yourself to a still point. You might want to reach your arms overhead or even take a long body stretch. We'll remain for a moment here on our backs, just feeling the energy as it runs through the body. Notice any changes in sensation. Breathe. So we're going to begin a practice of snoring. So this is going to require a rather deep intake of breath, and then just let it sound like it's going to sound. And have fun with it, you know? Make short snorts, make really long snorts. Express through the snoring. Snoring has been identified with or associated with repressed anger. So let's snore and let's start to work with and dig up that unresolved emotion. We will transition now to our next practice. So please bend your knees and just roll onto one side, pushing yourself up with your top arm, head coming up last. We'll place the blankets one on top of each other and use that to sit on. So if you'd prefer to be in a chair, that is fine. Also feel free to sit in any style. We're going to put the fingertips together as well as the thumb tips and hold the arms at the level of the solar plexus. And we're going to begin to do what's called Sitali breath. So if you can curl your tongue, just curl your tongue and stick it out. If you can't curl your tongue, you're just going to stick out your tongue. And then we're going to breathe in through the curled tongue or the mouth, and then exhale through the nose. The tongue will become very dry in this process. At any point you feel like you need to rest your tongue or your jaw, just feel free to release everything and then just come back. Sitali is a pranayama that helps us deal with issues of heat. And anger is considered one of those issues. It can also be used if you're experiencing just a lot of physical heat. It's also recommended for heat flashes, night sweats, that kind of thing. And then the Hakini Mudra improves concentration, it calms the nerves, and it balances the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. So it brings us back into a balance. Hakini Mudra is said to give us power over our mind. And since the emotions of rage in particular, but anger, annoyance, and disgust tend to make us lose our minds, it can be very helpful. So just continue to breathe this way. Allow the lower body to be heavy and surrendered to the ground, and remain with the spine straight and light right through the crown of the head. So noticing now as you rest the effects of that practice, any change in body temperature, in state of mind, what do you notice? So the question that we ask ourselves with this second trio of emotions is, what has been violated? So just allow your mind to free associate in terms of your annoyance. What is being violated that makes you annoyed? in terms of your anger. What is being violated that makes you angry? And in terms of disgust, what is being violated? This is the question that helps us understand the message of these three emotions. Notice whatever's arising in your body as it arises as you continue to contemplate the question. Breathe fully, deeply. So we'll transition now into a supported dragonfly pose. So you'll need a bolster for this, or something that could substitute as a bolster. The legs are at a wide angle with the bolster across on the thighs. The elbows will be resting on the bolster, and the thumbs are going to go into the corners of the eyes, right at the eyebrow, and the hands will be pressed in prayer pose. So bending forward at the hips, trying not to round through the lower back here. I'm starting with my feet flexed, and then as I release and soften into the pose, I'm just going to let the legs go soft. So breathe and just empty the mind of any anger or annoyance or disgust or thoughts around those kinds of feelings. Let the mind empty. And of course, if the mind isn't emptying, if things are coming to you, just allow them to come. They may very well have information that you need to continue the process of the alchemy. We'll be holding here. Go ahead and bring yourself upright. Just move your bolster to the end or near the end of your mat. The blankets will go at the head, and then just take one of them away. You can use that extra one to cover your feet if you like. The bolster can go under the knees. And I like to turn my bolster on its end. It makes it a little nicer for the knees to just wrap around that way. And then you can use the blanket at the head, and if you'd like to curl it right into the space behind the neck, you can do that, or just leave it flat. And allow your body to rest and let go and just notice sensation. We're going to begin our inquiry here. So we've already worked with a little bit the question, what is being violated? So once we have some of those answers, we begin to understand that the reason that we are annoyed or angry or disgusted is because we care about something that is being violated. Now, we can't change other people, but we can become aware of how things in the external world are affecting us, and we can use that information to change ourselves. So some of the things that help when we feel violated include being able to set boundaries. So take a moment and consider what boundaries might be being broken in your life, and what is it that you need to do in order to reinforce or perhaps change the boundaries that you have or don't have, whatever the case may be. The emotions of annoyance, anger, and disgust may also be served by a practice of patience. So if you look at the areas of your life where you're experiencing these things, are you being somehow impatient? Are you trying to force the river? If so, call in the quality of patience now. Call it in and let it soak through each of your cells. Let it transform you and transform those difficult emotions. Finally, let's take a look at our relationship to our authentic power. Do you own your power, or do you give it away? Do you take a stance of victim instead of setting boundaries, or instead of deciding to be patient or to change something in your life or to change yourself? We're going to slowly come out of the position. Coming onto our sides and sitting upright. And as you sit with your hands in Gyan Mudra, thumb and forefinger together, just take a final inventory of how you feel. And bringing your hands to your heart, give a little bow to yourself. Thank you for practicing emotion alchemy with me today. If you want to know more about emotion alchemy or work with me on a one-to-one basis, do visit the website DivineMeTime.com. Take care, everyone.